Hello everybody! Today we're going to see how I draw Logray the Ewok. Just so you know, there's a coloring book that you can get through Amazon. Just follow the link in my description and you can get a coloring book to show me how you color to how I draw. Okay, pencils first and then Sharpies. So if you don't want to watch the pencil portion of the video where I sketch the entire thing out, look in the description and you'll find a link that you can click on. It will take you to the Sharpie portion of the video. I'll even include one for color. But for those of you that are sticking around, I'm going to start off with a quick sketch for myself and get us going. Okay, so I just realized this is a request too. I didn't think it was. I was pretty much done with requests. Well, I'm not done. I'm gonna back off so I can do my regular list of other things I'm trying to get to and be done with and all this stuff. But yeah, I think this one is a request as well, because I was looking at my list. I'm trying to write them down now, and it looks like let me see if I can pronounce this correctly. Goo Miniman. I apologize. It's G-U-U Miniman. So is that Goo? Is it Guh? I don't know. Anyway, originally Otis D requested Ewoks, and I always tell the story every time. It made me laugh because that's just such a it's like saying draw people, you know. It's like, well, you know, there's a lot of different ones, which one? So I just started drawing different characters, and the first one obviously was going to be Wicket, and after I did that, Goo or Guh Miniman requested Logray, and I said, you know, it's coming, just give me time. I have to get to everybody. But so yeah, so I was also saying this before, that I'm a small enough channel still that I can try to say people's names, give shout outs, so to speak, when someone requested something. So yeah, for now, you know, who knows, maybe, you know, in the future if we get too big, I won't be able to do it all the time. But for now, I can go ahead and say who requested what. And I'm doing kind of a shaman, hands in the air, casting a spell pose for Logray here. And it's kind of fun too, because you pay attention, or you don't pay attention. You just you know, enjoy them and appreciate that they're Ewoks and that kind of fun stuff. You never think about the details, but staring at it, looking at it, trying to figure this out. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Tebow was pretty creepy. Staring at it, figuring it out. It's funny to pay attention to the tiny details that I never really paid attention to before. Like his ears. His ears are down more than they are up, whereas Wicket's were kind of up. His were down, and I don't know if it's because of the hat or if it's because of the his personality. And I think that's really neat, because, you know, each one of these has to have a little bit of their own uniqueness, and that was kind of, I'm sure, the challenge of the designers, trying to make, you know, something unique about each one of these little teddy bears. So it's kind of cool to see, when paying attention to stuff like this, that he has flat ears down low. Ooh, I'm going to bring this over. I don't like how far out that went. I'm going to center that more towards the center of the head. Like that. There we go. That looks better. Okay. And so, yeah, everybody's got like their own unique little looks to them. And again, it's those little things that make them stand out. All right, because pretty much for the most part, they're just, you know, fuzzy teddy bears, and we got to draw all this extra little stuff hanging down to make them stand out. All right. There we go. And of course he's going to be holding his old, shaman stick over on this side. Okay, let's see, what can we do for it here? There's a lot of good pictures online. Okay, there's not a lot of good pictures. There are 2 or 3 good pictures. Because they didn't take a lot of pictures, just enough to represent cataloging everything about him. I got my words today. Woo woo. Usually I don't. Usually I'm like, I don't know. Okay, so this one, the feather is supposed to go up higher, but we're running out of room, so I'm going to make the feather a little shorter. So we'll just make it a little small one like that. There's another one hanging off over here like this. Then more spine, little spinal columns hanging off over here. And so that's another funny little joke, is that these guys are cannibals. I mean, a lot of humans are meat eaters too, but we call them cannibals when they eat humans. So, and they were going to eat them, not going to lie, they were going to have them for a feast in C-3PO's honor. So, call them like I sees them, basically. All right, I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's enough to get started. So let me erase some of these sketches. I did a whole bunch of sketch lines trying to get here. So let me erase some of them, because all I really need are the confidence lines. And as I got more confident, the first few lines, they were sketchy. As I got more confident, my lines started getting darker, or I pressed harder with my pencil. And so that's all I need. And those will take a lot more to erase than if I'm just hitting it lightly and erasing these sketch lines. So the confidence lines are what we're going to go with. The sketchy lines are what we're going to get rid of. Always stick with your confidence. Don't follow the sketchiness. Alright. There we go. I think I'm ready. Let's welcome everybody that skipped. Alright. Welcome, skippers. Welcome to the Sharpie portion of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because I do a different drawing every day. You can join along and have some fun. I'm going to be using a Sharpie fine point and a Sharpie pen. Mostly the fine point, but the pen's a little finer than the fine point. You can find things that the fine point can't quite find. I've sketched the entire thing out. I've erased a majority of it, but I left myself a nice ghost of an image that I can use to guide me. I'm going to start with the Sharpie pen, because I can control the line widths much better. And I've got him standing with his arms raised up in a shaman, casting a shaman spell, and start off with the fine details of the face. So I'm going to draw his little old eyes, his little old beady eyes. And there's more of a Wicket's were round, his are like old and narrow. So I'm going to draw the lids like this, see if I've got them in a good spot. Looks good to me, because I've got them kind of tilted a little bit, so that means I want the eyes tilted just a hair. They're not level, they're just turned like this. So I can draw the underside, and the eyes are so dark that I don't think I'm going to do anything for the inside for the pupils. Like, it's such a dark color with a little bit of a light glare that I don't think I can do much. Well, let's see if we can do something. How about a little big and round like that? But see how we're losing some of the pupil? That's why I'm afraid to do anything else. So let's just leave it at that, okay? So I'm going to draw his nose down here, little pug round nose. Something like this. Now I'm not going to draw all the hairs of his body. We're just going to accent certain parts. Let me draw his mouth, and then we can add some hair accents. The reason I say that is because we're going to do a lot of it with color. At the very end, you'll see what I did. But it's going to be quite a challenge to color in every single hair, and that's not what I'm here to do. You can do that if you want, but I'm just here to add the hard edges, draw some lips, and then I'll let color do the rest. Okay, so you can see some of his teeth, like that. I'll go ahead and do some of the bottom ones while I can. Kind of out of room, so kind of a mess, but once we get color in there, we'll see more. So this is what I was talking about. We're gonna add some highlights for the hair, and but not all of them. So I want to give him kind of a little mustache like this, like that. Those hairs are definitely there, and it helps also to give him kind of a shaman like wisdom. Okay, let's see, I'm gonna do a few more like this. There you go. That'll accent that, and we'll let the color do a lot more. But I think that's all I'm really going to do. I'm probably going to switch over to the big Sharpie now, because it'll all be a little bit more cohesive. There are some skulls. Let me do a little bit of almost like a rat skull or something over here in his hat. And again, I just want to do that with this Sharpie so I can kind of accent the fine detail, because this would probably be too thick for the big Sharpie. But we're going to come back. We'll balance back and forth. So he's got a little hat on, and I'm going to go ahead and draw the edge of that. That'll give me some good stop points. So I'm going to come across here and do something like this. And that's the nice thing. It's kind of a leathery goods type kind of hat that we can just draw an old mishmash of parts, and they've got their stuff hanging down, like there's a bone hanging down right here, and you can see there's the inside of the hat coming off his ear like that, and the other side something like this, just hanging down. And so that's basically the hat is what we're gonna do. And it's going to come up here around his ear, and it's around that one too. We're going to go ahead and draw the ears. And I was talking about this in the sketch. It's really neat that his ears are down, and I don't know if that's because of the hat or if that's just his personality. But I thought it was a nice way to make him unique, you know, because when they're making these, obviously, I do kind of want to add a few more hairs with this. When they were designing these, you know, kudos to them. They did a great job. But how do you make teddy bears unique? You know. And I want color to do this, so that's why I want to add a whole bunch of hairs, but I also don't. You know, I want to do it with color, but I want to add some edges, something like that. Okay. Alright, so let me work on the top of his head. Let's do this. Let's just do this. Hang on. I think a nice contrast of thick versus thin is going to be good. And that's what this small Sharpie is good for. You can do kind of a thick and thin complement to each other. Okay, so I'm going to draw the little bird thing on his head. His old bird hat. Let's see, I'm going to put the middle of it like right there, and then the beak. I'm going to do something like this. I mean, I guess it's a beak, right? We really don't know. It's just this weird old hat, weird old bird hat. We'll do something like that on each side. It's going to come up to the eyes, and we're going to put the eyes like this. That way I can come up around like that, around like that. Watch this, watch this. We're going to do some cool accents with a smaller Sharpie. Like that. That way we're highlighting it, and we're not really making it as predominant as the big Sharpie. So that kind of accents that or complements that it's a different line width, a different level. We'll give it some some skull lines. You ever seen it on bones? They're like almost like where bones are sewn together. I don't know what this is. I don't know why that's making the sewn together feel, but that's that's what I was going for. All right. So anyway, back to the drawing. So he's got different stuff hanging off his hat. He's got a big old feather hanging off of this way. So we're gonna do something like this. Ooh, hang on, before I go crazy there. Come back with the Sharpie. Something like that. I'm gonna give it a feather look. Should probably do it with color, but again, I'm just kind of accenting, you know? Some smaller ones. I know it's like not floating right now, but I'm just adding the extra little touches and looks to it. So yeah, so let's go ahead and connect it, because like I said, it's a big old leather hat hanging over like this. There's the little pieces and parts hanging off that are weird and just kind of sewn up and doing that stuff. So let's do that. Let's do some sewn stitches, like it's holding the hat together, right? Like where he sewed it, just to make it come alive, you know. There you go. That's good. That's good. Okay, so I've got his hands up in the air, holding his staff on this side and just casting a spell. So I did this in the Tebow one. I'm gonna make kind of his fur over the. He's got a purse too, a little satchel he's hanging on to. So I'm gonna do the fur over the strap whenever I come this way. Just letting you know. Right now we're gonna do his arms raised up. So this one's kind of raised. You gotta remember the shoulders up whenever you raise your arm up. So it's going to be up a little bit higher, around like this, and we're doing kind of a jangly fur looking feel to it. So don't worry about, you know, drawing a straight edge. And they've got those old 3-finger hands, and then there's fur on this side, like that. Let's see. So again, I'm going to come down, add like a fuzzy little whippy fur feel to the shape of the hand. Okay, and I'm going to draw the satchel there, so that's why I'm stopping. So, like I said, I'm going to do the strap, so I'm going to do something like this. And I'm going to draw the other side, which is not covered by fur, underneath it, like that. So see, we're kind of giving it that feel that there's fur on the top side, because it's the fur is hanging over, you know? Okay, so, again, I want to do it with color, but, you know, it's fur. You know, we want to draw a little bit. We want to have a little bit of fun. That's kind of the nice thing is, man, I would love to just sit here and draw this all day long, draw all this fur, you know, but not gonna happen. I got other stuff to do. You can. You want to do that? Go for it. You do what you want to do. Because remember, this is how I draw. You draw how you draw, and we'll meet somewhere in between. But me, I got cereal to eat. I got cartoons to watch. I got video games to play. I got mail to read. I got taxes to do. I'm an adult. I got to do adult stuff. Boring, right? All right. And that's all I'm going to do for that. Let's go ahead and draw this side and work our way up, okay? Let's do that. So I'm going to do like a satchel with a whole bunch of little, again, doohickeys and feathers and strings and talismans. That's the other word I'm looking for. You know, when you tie a bunch of stuff, all its talismans, and we'll draw another bone like that. So I'm trying to think of like wizards and stuff like that. What do they have hanging on them? And I mean, obviously there's not a real wizard, but you know, when we play Dungeons and Dragons, we have wizards, and they look a certain way. Play Dungeons and Dragons? Ooh, I love me some Dungeons and Dragons. Alright. I'm doing here. There you go. A little something like that. A little something, something, a little detail. Again, we should do that with color, but, you know, adding the extras. All right, so let's do his leg. We're going to add a little foot down this way. There's his crotch. It's going to be like this. Down to this foot. All right, now again, this arm is up as well, so we're just going to work our way back up like we did there. But not as high. All right, so we got to remember the stick is right there, so I don't want to go too far. Okay, so his hand is holding it, so I'm going to draw his thumb like this, the other fingers around like that, and that means there's a little fur around like this way. And let me start drawing the stick before I get too far. So there's a big what do you call it? Wound. It's got rope around it, so it's not really. It's like you wind rope around. But what's the word I'm looking for? I was just bragging that I got my words today, but apparently I don't. Wrapped. There's a wrapped part around the stick. Ooh, you know what? Let's add some fingers or some hand lines too. Something like that. Ah, I went too crazy. Look at that crazy line. Don't do that. Don't do what I did. Okay, so there's a wrapped up part than the stick, so I'm just going to do a little more mess around it, like little, you know, binding and stuff like that. And then I'm just going to draw the stick, and it's a little curved, so I'm going to come down here and I'm going to just do something like this. And remember, it's a stick, so it doesn't have to be straight, and it can have knots and stuff like that. And we'll add some fur detail in a second too. I just wanted to do something like this. And well, let's do it now. Let's do it now. Let's add some fur. And again, I don't want to go too crazy. I do want to just accent a few pieces. But, you know, I'm just going to have some fun. Let's see, he's got toes like this. Accent where the ankle is, basically. Let's say he's got toes like this. All right, there we go. All right, so we'll do some wood look around to it, something like that. All right, so now let's just finish this up. And so the top part is made out of, looks like spine. So I'm gonna draw up to this one, and then I'm just gonna draw like a spine, but also gotta remember I got like a rope wrapped around it, a little bit, something holding it together. So I'm just gonna play around with the look of a spine. And this one's got stuff, this has more spines hanging off of it too, so I gotta remember to add a little bit of that. And then he's got little ones here. We're basically just doing that all the way down, just to look like a spinal column. Kind of gruesome, you know what I mean? Okay, something like that. And let's see, there's again some stuff hanging down, some stuff tied on. There's another one on top, and I talked about this in the sketch that the feather goes up here off the camera, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to go ahead and keep it here. I'm going to make it smaller, basically, is what I'm saying. And then add just like a feather. And add some detail in a second. Okay. All right. So here we go with just a little bit of fun detail here for a feather. Again, there's some rope and stuff tied around that, tied around that. Obviously holding these together somehow. And then we'll say there's like a little piece hanging down. It's maybe the rope that's it's tying it all together. And there we go. So there, I say we take care of the rest with color. So that is Logray, the Ewok. So here's my colored version. You can color it however you like. I just thought I'd show you how I decided to color it. If you'd like to color it like this, you can always pause the video here and use the coloring techniques that I used, or you can just make it your own. Remember, this is how I draw. You draw how you draw, and we'll meet somewhere in between. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures with how I draw. Plus, don't forget to hit that notification button for new videos.